I'm Fran Peck, and it is my honor to facilitate our pre-service meditation. So I invite you to just get settled, get centered, and close your eyes and take a breath and turn within. Just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in peace, breathing in love. And on the exhale, breathing out anything unlike peace, anything unlike love. Just being fully centered, breathing into that heart space, breathing into the awareness that there is only one power. And as you breathe in, just let go of everything. Just focus on the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Again, breathing in and breathing out. And if your mind wanders, just bring it back to the breath. And in this, we rest. So as we just breathe ourselves back into this space, this place, this time, just being fully aware of our bodies and just stretching, opening our eyes, just being fully present right here, right now. Thank you so much for joining me for pre-service meditation this morning, our first in-person pre-service meditation. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. Please stand and join us in our opening song, Holy, Holy Way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. All the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Reveal the path of the peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me do it.
Yes, let us do it. Good morning and welcome to everyone in person as well as online. For those of you online, thank you so much for joining us today. The Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church that honors all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that by practicing the principles and the practices of the science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with tools for living our best possible lives. And our founder, Ernest Holm, has said there is a power for good in the universe, and it's there for us to use. So here's a bit about our service today. Today, Reverend Mary Jane Hyde is our practitioner of the day and will be offering our evocation. That will be followed by our new congregant care chant, The World. May not be so new anymore, though I think we all know it. And I encourage you, as you sing this song, to really take the words to heart because they're very powerful. They include us as individuals, as the world, and each other. And so I want you to really listen to the words and feel them within. Today, we welcome back LeeLee Robert as our musical inspiration. It's wonderful to have you back again. This is a very special day. So before we go any further, I just want to announce that the specialness of this day has to do with our spiritual leader, and it is her birthday. So LeeLee, would you please come up so that we can sing happy birthday to her to let her know how much we honor and appreciate that you said yes, and you continue to say yes. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Reverend Sherry. Happy birthday to you. And we love you. Okay, so back on track here. It's going to be one of those days. Okay, so after we sing the chant, our gong master, Reverend Christopher Guru Karam Gallagher, is going to bring us a powerful gong wash. And I hope that you will really feel that go through your body today because it is such a powerful vibration to center us. There'll be a few minutes of silence, excuse me, after the gong wash, and Reverend Mary Jane will be back with the inspirational reading of the day. So right now, here's Mary Jane with the evocation.
And so let's just get into the presence in the moment. Just let go of everything and just be fully present right here, right now. It is as we center ourselves, we become aware of the presence that is God. There is only one power in all of existence, and that power is God. It is peace, harmony. It is joy. It is love. It is infinite flow, abundant knowledge, health, wealth, and well-being. And those energies, that energy and those attributes of those energies is what's expressing through me here right now. It is expressing as love and peace and harmony and joy, health, abundant flow, infinite knowledge. That same power, that same energy, that same oneness is expressing in, through, and as each person here. As a part of this service, each person who listens to this message, to this service, it is also present through each person who is not going to be a part of our service in any way. That power, that presence is the living spirit that is expressed through all. And it's in this knowing of this presence, this peace, this harmony, that I say this prayer that I accept for CLF through this service, that we are fed, that we are aligned, that we know that perfection that is within us. And it expresses in, through, and as us, whether we are participating in this service as people who serve, or if we're just here to listen, or if we're here as we hear the divinely guided words of Reverend Sherry, that we allow that to flow through us, allow that to resonate with that divine, and allow that divine energy to flow through us. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for how this service unfolds at the highest and best for everybody. I'm grateful for the camaraderie, for the fellowship, for the spiritual growth. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for CLF and how it expresses as its own entity. I say thank you. And I know that as I release this words, as I release this into the law, into the power, that all is already done. And so I just release and let go. And in that, I know. And so my work is done. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.
The world is a place of great love. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. I am a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. You are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. We are a place of great peace. The world is a place of great peace.
This reading is a brief explanation of what we believe as set forth in the Declaration of Principles, excerpt from the Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. We believe in the internal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. The Spirit gives itself to everyone. The power of God is delivered to all. Whosoever will may come. No matter what the mistakes of our yesterdays may have been, we may transcend both the mistake and its consequences through the imbibing the spirit of truth, which is the power of God. This does not mean that we may continue living in the mistake without suffering from it. We must transcend it. That is, we must transmute hate into love, fear into faith, and a sense of separation into conscious union with good. When we have done this, the entire record of the past is blotted out, and we are again free. Free with that freedom which the Almighty has ordained, and which we may claim as His own. But liberty is not license, and the law of life cannot be fooled. It is the exacting. Therefore, Jesus said, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do unto you, do ye even so to them. Give, and it shall be given. This is a statement of the law of cause and effect, which is invariable and immutable, but which is also the plaything of both God and man. For while the law itself cannot be broken, any particular sequence of cause and effect in it can be transcended. The same law which wrongly used brought poverty, sickness, and death, rightly used will bring peace, wholeness, prosperity, and life. This is the great challenge of spiritual faith. Coming daily to the fountain of life to be renewed in mind, thought, and spirit, we shall find that we also are renewed in bodily conditions and physical affairs. Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Namaste.
So great to see so many old friends here. I have written 2 songs for today. One I wrote a few years ago, the first one, and it's called The Womb of Creation. Do you know what it is you want and believe that you can have it? Believe that you can have it. Just focus on the truth and you will find you will create a brand new habit. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Manifest your true relation. Oh yes, you are a child of God, partners in the womb of creation. Oh yeah. What is stopping you, brothers and sisters, from having that brand new chance? Once you find out, you will discover you can create a different circumstance. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Manifest your true relation. Oh yes, you are a child of God, partners in the womb of creation. We must get out of our own way. Pay attention to our thinking and listen to what you say. Hey, hey. So manifest your true desire today. The truth, and you can create it. Partner with our God that is good, and you can anticipate it. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Manifest your true relation. You are a child of God, partners in the womb of creation. Partners in the womb of creation. Partners in the womb of creation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give her a hand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You wrote a song for us the last time you were here. Since you wrote two for us today, thank you very much. And thank you for the birthday wishes. That was so nice. So nice. I was almost teary-eyed. And I was thinking I'm going to sit for a minute. I was thinking as I was sitting there. No, I don't think I want to do that. I was thinking as I was sitting there that on my birthday, I get a chance to begin again. Even though I know you can begin again every day, still, it's like the first of the year, January 1st, we get a chance to begin again. And then if I didn't do anything between January 1st and the 22nd, I can begin again. That's the truth that I tell myself. That's the truth that I tell myself, that I can begin again. And I can begin again today. And so can you on my birthday. You can begin again. That's our theme for the year. And I want us to remember that every day, that every time we wake up in the morning, we can begin again. Because it's a new day, it's a new opportunity. And it's a new opportunity for us to recognize the truth of our being. The truth of our being, that we are in the womb of creation, always, always. So let's take a breath together. It's good to see folks that I haven't seen for a while. It's good to see those that I have seen for a while. Our theme for the month is the call of authenticity. And today, the topic is truth or consequences. Truth or consequences. Truth or consequences. You know, there used to be an old TV show many years ago. My mother told me about it. I didn't really remember. Truth or consequences. There was a TV show many, many years ago by that same name, Truth or Consequences. And the premise was that the contestants had to tell the truth or they had to suffer the consequences. And it was some question they were asked, some trivia question that they were asked, and they were given like 3 seconds to come up with the answer. And if they didn't get the right answer, then they had to perform some stunt. And outlandish stunts they had to perform. And I had forgotten what the show was like. So I went back a couple of days ago and looked at it on YouTube. That is the silliest show. That is the silliest show I have ever seen. And I didn't remember it being that ridiculous. Yes, that's the word. It really was. And they had several MCs. I think the first one was Jack Bailey, and then there was Ralph Edwards, and then there was Bob Barker. Yeah. So and it was on for a long time, but it was still a silly show. And one thing I just want to say that really caught my eye, the commercial was about cigarettes, and the cigarettes that were there were Old Gold cigarettes, and they had just come out with the filtered Old Gold. So they were talking about the regular Old Gold, and then the filter Old Gold, and then they'd come out with, I guess, the menthol or something, and then the filter. And they would talk about the marriage between the regular cigarette and the filter. And so they had a woman and a man there smoking and blowing smoke on each other. And it just showed me how much the world has changed. But I mean, when did you last see a cigarette commercial? And I had forgotten that we had those, and the way that they were making it so glamorous, and so it was like romantic that they were smoking, and and they had a wedding ring that they put on the cigarette for the marriage between the filter and the regular cigarette. And then she was told, the woman was wearing a wedding ring also, and then they were hugging and they were kissing and they were smoking, and it was just wow. And I was thinking about that with regard to truth, because all the things that they were telling us about cigarette smoking and about cigarettes and the beauty of it and how it will just change your life. Yes, it would change your life. But for that, of course, they didn't know it at the time, but looking back on it, for that to be the commercial that they were, and the product that they were really, really pushing, it was so apropos for Truth or Consequences, because they weren't telling the truth. And whether they knew it or not, they weren't telling the truth, and the consequences are still being experienced from that. I can remember being very, very, very influenced by cigarette commercials, and my mother was a smoker, and I started smoking at a very, very early age, and I don't know why I'm talking about that, but and I smoked for, oh my gosh, I don't know how many years, 30-something years, I think. And by the time I stopped, I was smoking 3 packs a day. Yeah. And I stopped. One day I just didn't smoke anymore. And so I had been caught up in that untruth. I had been caught up in that race-conscious belief that my life was going to be so much better if I could just smoke a cigarette. If I just, I was going to be one of the cool people. And as a teenager, I was one of the cool kids who smoked, And so it's just being caught up in race-conscious belief, being caught up in what other people are doing, being caught up in what society is doing, being caught up in all that kind of stuff, carries us into that place of what is not true and having to suffer the consequences of it. But one thing I want to say about truth or consequences, and it really should be truth and consequences. It should be truth and consequences. Truth and consequences. Think about it. Every act has its own consequence. Every act has its own consequence. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we think has its own consequence. And that can be what we call a positive consequence, or it can be what we call not so positive consequence. But whatever it is, there's a consequence to every act. There's a consequence to every act. So just think about that. We think about consequences as negative. And so we say that you will suffer the consequences of that. And that's generally when we have the negative consequences of something that happens. But then think about when we do something that is positive, when we do something that is good, we get to experience the consequences of it. We get to experience the consequences of it. We get to experience the consequences of truth. And so I want us to think today about truth and consequences. And I'm talking about truth with the little t, the small t, and truth with the capital T. The truth is what how we live, the truth, what you can say it. The truth that you tell or don't tell, the truth that we avoid telling, and knowing also that truth is more than not lying. Truth is more than not lying. Sometimes when we don't say anything, when we're called on to speak, when we need to speak, when speaking up, when we need to be silent sometimes. But that's what truth is all about also, being in truth. Being in truth. And so I'll be asking you questions, as I usually do today, about how is truth playing out in your life? That which is real, that which is authentic. And truth plays right into authenticity, because without truth, there is no authenticity. Who are you without truth? Who do you think you are? That's what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Who do you think you are? And how does truth play into who you think you are? And who you think you are should be, well, telling the truth is defined usually by who you think you are. By who you think you are. And sometimes we're not living in truth because we are trying to give a particular impression to other people. We're trying to give a particular, put on a particular front, or whatever it is for other people, for society, for our children, for our families, for our co-workers, or whatever the case may be. But is that authenticity? Is that authenticity? And the call of authenticity calls us to truth. The call of authenticity calls us to really stand in the truth that we know and be willing to do that. And you know what keeps us from telling the truth? And I say us because I include all of us in this. What keeps us from telling the truth is that truth can be painful. Telling the truth can be painful. It can create fear of loss, because sometimes telling the truth means that we will lose a friend, or we will lose a job, or we will lose some situation in our lives, or whatever the case may be, something that may be valuable to us. But standing in the truth that we know and being truthful about it is hard sometimes to tell the truth. The truth can be a hard road to walk, but the truth sets us free, because it frees us from having to hide. It frees us from having to remember. Someone said that it's easy to tell a lie, and it's hard to tell only one. It's easy to tell a lie, and it's hard to tell only one. Because once you tell that one, then you got to keep it up. And you got to keep it up. And you got to keep it up. And whether you are verbalizing it to someone else, or whether you are in your own mind telling a lie to yourself, you got to keep it up. And then you got to tell another lie. And then you got to tell another lie. You talk about creativity. You got to be more and more and more creative. Do you know how much work that is? Because first you got to remember the lie that you told, so that you can be, whatever you're saying now, whatever you're doing now is consistent with that. And then how authentic is that? That's one of the consequences of not telling the truth in the first place. You got to be able to remember what you said. You got to be able to remember what you did. And you got to be able to remember it like in a flash, because somebody will come up and there's a question or there's a situation that you got to keep that lie going. Then you got to add another one to it. You got to add another one to it. Is that the way we want to live our lives? That's one of the consequences of not telling the truth. That's one of the consequences of not telling the truth. And you know what? As I said, it can be painful to tell the truth, but the truth will set us free. My teacher used to say, first it'll tick you off. He said, the truth will set you free, but first it'll tick you off. And it will sometimes. The truth will set you free, and first it will hurt you. First it will be painful. First you will be scary, but it will set us free. It sets our hearts free. It sets our minds free. It sets our entire being free. That's one of the consequences of truth. That's one of the consequences. When we tell the truth, we can open our hearts, we can open our minds, we can be all we were created to be. We can dare to stand up. We can dare to stand in our own power. That's when we're dealing with the small t truth. Let's move over to the capital T truth. The truth. The truth that is invariable, the truth that is inviolate, the truth that we know as God. First cause. And you know, when we talk about, when I said cause, it made me think about, when we talk about truth and consequences, we're really talking about the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. Truth sets cause in motion, and whatever the consequences are, is an effect. They are effects of the truth that we tell. And so I'm asking, what kinds of things, small t truth, are we saying to ourselves about ourselves? What kinds of things are you, what kinds of stories are you telling yourself? What kinds of lies are you telling yourself? I am so sick. I am so broke. I am so tired. I am so lonely. I am so fill in the blank. These are the things that we tell ourselves. Is this the truth about you? Is this the truth about you? Because if that is what you are affirming, if that's what you are saying, if that's what you are telling yourself, that's what you get to experience. Because the law always works. The law always works. When we set a cause in motion, there's an effect. There's a consequence that's going to happen as a result of that cause that we set in effect, that we set in motion. And when we speak our word for something, when we identify ourselves with something that is not the truth of our being, that is not the truth about us, that is not the truth of the all that is, then we get to experience the results of that. We get to experience the effects of that. And that's why it's so important for us to stay focused. That's why it's so important for us to stay anchored. That's why it's so important for us to know at all times what we are saying, what we're thinking, what we are doing, to be mindful, to be in that place of noticing, always noticing, going through our lives, noticing. And what noticing means is just being mindful. It means paying attention to what you're saying, paying attention to what you're thinking, paying attention to how you're interacting, not with an idea of judgment, not to judge it, but to be aware of your thoughts, to be aware of your words, to be aware of your actions. And then as you notice, you say, oh, you hear yourself saying something, and then you say, oh, I'm saying this now. Not judging, not trying to change it, but just noticing it. And noticing is like noticing that there's a chair out there, outside that window, noticing that there's a bird flying by. You're not trying to stop the bird, you're not judging it, you're just noticing it. But it comes into your awareness. And that's how truth has to be in our awareness, always. The truth of who we are. The truth of who we are. The truth of how we're living. The truth of how we're speaking. The truth of what we're saying. The truth of where we're keeping ourselves. Are we keeping ourselves grounded, or are we keeping ourselves stuck? And we can do that. I thought you were waving at me. So okay, got it. Are we keeping ourselves grounded, or are we keeping ourselves stuck? Think about it. We can keep ourselves stuck with the same old stories over and over and over and over and over again. I wish I had done this, but I didn't. Now it's too late. Now I've gotten too old. Now I'm too tired. I don't know enough. Although that's keeping ourselves stuck. And you know what? Hafiz says, the word you speak becomes the house you live in. The word you speak becomes the house you live in. The word you speak becomes the house you live in. And if you don't want to live in that house, don't speak that word for that. Don't speak that word for that. Speak the word for what you want. I want to do this. I would like to live my life this way. Now, how can I do that from where I am right now? Start right where you are. How can I do that from now? It doesn't matter what I didn't do back here. It doesn't matter what I haven't done in the past. It doesn't matter what I did do back there. Start right now, right here, right where you are, and decide what is it that you want in your life. How can, if you have not been in that place of walking the path of truth, small t truth, of telling the truth, of being truthful in your relationships, because truth affects everything. It affects every aspect of our lives. So being truthful in our relationships with each other, being truthful in our, again, relationship with ourselves, being truthful with our neighbors, our coworkers, being truthful in every situation, in every circumstance, being honest in every situation, in every circumstance, and knowing that truth and integrity go hand in hand. We were talking about integrity last week. Seems like last year. Last week, we were talking about integrity. Integrity plays out in every aspect of our lives, and truth is an integral part of that. Truth is an integral part of that. And so I'm asking you, where are you not being truthful in your life? Where in your relationship are you not being truthful? Where in your internal beingness are you not being truthful? With the small t. Where do you need to go back and apologize? Where do you need to go back and make amends? Where do you need to go back and do something different? And then with the capital T, where are you not being truthful? With the capital T. Truthful in recognizing that God is all there is, recognizing that you are made in the image and likeness and out of pure spirit itself, recognizing that we are one with God and that God is always present in every situation and every circumstance. No matter what's going on, God is in the midst of this, even this. God is in the midst of that person, even her, or even him, whatever the case may be. That's the truth. And can we live that truth? Because when we don't, then we experience the consequences of discord, of disharmony, of chaos. We see in our society today how much truth seems to be absent. We see how many untruths there are that are being told today, and how many people are willing to be untruthful, and how many people are willing to tell fantastical lies, and how many people believe it, and how it has begun to affect our relationships, even in families, with friends, with coworkers, with loved ones. The untruths are affecting so many things. Are you willing to stand in the truth that you know and say, no, that's a lie, that's not true, and say what the truth is? Be willing to call out whatever the truth is and call out the lie. It will be uncomfortable because sometimes you're the only one who's doing that. You're the only one who's willing to say that. Are you willing to stand in the truth that you know and then to experience the consequences of that? And the consequences don't have to be negative. The consequences don't have to be bad. And they may be painful. Are you willing to live through that so that you can stand in integrity, so that you can be who you are? So that you can be who you are. And so I invite you today to really look at when choices come up, when decisions come up, when we're dealing with loved ones, we're dealing with our kids, grandkids, when we're dealing with strangers, we have a choice always to stand in truth, or to go along with the crowd, or to go along with the majority, or to go along to get along. And then we get a chance to experience the consequences of that. So always be in a place of recognizing before you take an action, before you make a decision, look at what the potential consequences are, and are you willing to live with those? That's how I raised my daughter. That when she was little and growing up, I rarely said, I rarely just said, no, you can't do this, or demanded that she do something or not do something, particularly if it was something she wanted to do. If she was really adamant about it, and she's really strong-willed, and I am too. And so if there was something that came up that she really wanted to do and was determined she was going to do, I didn't say no. I would say, okay, here are the consequences. If you take this action, these are the consequences. Potential consequences. If you take this action, these are the potential consequences. It's up to you to decide which consequences are you willing to live with. If you make this decision, this is how I'm going to respond. If you make that decision, this is how I'm going to respond. Which consequence are you willing to live with? And it's up to you to make that choice. And so I always left it up to her, even as a little kid. I always said, these are the consequences. You got to be able to choose what you want to experience. Thank God she made some good choices. And sometimes we really had to go, I had to just really hold my breath and trust God that, that she was going to be guided to make right decisions, because she would go right up to the line sometimes. And I'm sure she was testing me. And I'd let her go right up. I'd go right up to the line with her and say, okay, God, we really don't want her to have that consequence, but that's her decision, it's her life. And so that's what I'm saying to you today, is to really look at what consequences are you willing to experience? Do you really want to have peace in your life? Do you really want to have love in your life? Do you really want to have harmony in your life? Do you really want to have balance? Do you really want to have fun? Do you really want to have joy? Do you really want to have peace of mind? Do you really want to have perfect health and wholeness expressing always? Do you really want to be in that place of openness and open-heartedness so that you do get a chance to experience the allness and the fullness of God? Imagine that. Imagine that. What is it that you can do differently today? What is it you can do differently now that will allow you to stand in the truth that you know? And sometimes you may be the only one standing. Sometimes you may be the only one standing. Sometimes you may be the only one standing. But one thing you can know for sure, and that is that you are not standing alone. You are not standing alone, that there's that power and that presence that is always right where you are, that is always guiding, that is always directing, that is always uplifting, that is always comforting, that is always protecting, that is always seeking a way to express itself fully and completely through each one of us, as each one of us. We couldn't ask for more than that, because this intelligence, this presence, this power, this love, this joy, this allness, this fullness is within each one of us, and it is seeking an outlet. And as we open up and let go of those things that we hide, and those things that we hang on to, and those things that we hold back on, as we just open up and let those things go, create that space, then we get a chance to experience that love eternal. We get a chance to experience that loving kindness. We get a chance to experience the allness and the fullness of God, and to be co-creators with God, always creating the kind of life we want to live, creating a life of freedom. And it's never too late to be free. It's never too late to be free. And so I invite each of you to join me today in just being free. Just being free, just standing in the truth that you know, speaking the truth that you know, acting like you know the truth, and being the truth. Being the truth. When someone sees you, they see the truth. They see you coming, they see truth coming. Be that. That's a bold way of living. That's a bold way of living. That's a way of standing in your own power and being who you are, because you know who you are. You are one with the all that is. You are the beloved of the all that is. Nothing can change that. Nothing can change that. You can change your experience of it. So I invite you to say yes to truth and consequences. Truth and consequences. The consequences of wholeness. That's what the consequences of truth is. So let's just take a breath now as we just turn within. Just breathing freely, not holding back anything, breathing easily and effortlessly, not blocking anything, not hiding anything. being open, breathing in and breathing out. Just allowing that allness and that fullness that is God to flow in and through and as each of us. Recognizing this allness and this fullness that is God as my very life. Recognizing this allness and this fullness that is God as the life of each of us here this day. Just knowing there's no spot where God is not. There's no spot where God is not. Closer to us than hands and feet, nearer than our breath, God is. And so just knowing this truth, I speak the word for each of us this day as we release and let go of whatever it is that would be blocking our ability to stand in the truth that we know, to be the truth that we know, to be the truth that we know, to be the truth that we are, and to allow the truth with a capital T to express itself fully and completely in our lives, as our lives. And as a result, then we get to experience all the love and the peace and the harmony and the balance and the joy and the healing of relationships and the healing of broken hearts. We get to experience provision in the form of all needs being met, abundance and prosperity. We get to experience comfort for broken hearts and healing from a sense of loss and all those things. We get to experience all this by this word that's being spoken for each of us this day. And so I'm going to pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, but you may speak them now. So for all those whose names are spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. In the midst of everything that's going on, God is. In the midst of every circumstance, every situation, God is. This word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that right where each one is, God is, and that all indeed is well. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the word spoken here this day. Thank you for the perfect manifestation of this word. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Infinite presence, thank you, Divine Mother. All is well, all is God. And so it is.
This is the song that I specifically wrote for today called Truth or Consequences. Tell the truth or there'll be consequences. Beware of anyone telling lies. Tell the truth, don't put up your defenses. Just look people in the eyes. Keep it simple as life commences. No need to analyze. Tell the truth, or there'll be consequences. Now let me surmise. Tell the truth, or there'll be consequences. Stay on the right side of life. Tell the truth, don't sit on those fences, deciding what's wrong or right. Keep it simple, embracing common senses. No need to analyze. Tell the truth, and all will be right. If you tell a lie, you gotta remember it. and it can grow and grow. If you tell a lie, you'll have to dismember it, don't you know? Oh, tell the truth, or there'll be consequences. Beware of anyone telling lies. Tell the truth, don't put up your defenses. Just look people in the eyes. Keep it simple as life commences. No need to analyze. Tell the truth, or there'll be consequences, and all will be right. Tell the truth, and all will be right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, LeeLee. You are quite talented, and we are so blessed that you're sharing your talents with us. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we've come to this time in our service where it's time to our sacred giving. This is where we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving. If you're online watching us, we have several ways that we have created for you to contribute. You can give through clicking on the link in PayPal, PayPal account, and on Facebook and YouTube. And also there's a link on our website. And for those of you in person here, we have ushers who will be collecting your generous tithes and giving. Whichever way you choose to give, we truly do appreciate your continued financial support of CLF. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be doing this, all of you. So as the ushers come up, we will be singing our song, I Trust in God.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one with the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
And now if the ushers will come forward, we will say our blessing. Divine law, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you, Beverly and Cindy, for serving today. And now it's time to call up Nicole for our announcements.
Thank you, Charles. It always throws me just a little bit off, but thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you all here today. And now it's time for announcements. We have meditation, midday meditation, Monday through Friday at noon on our live streams. It's Facebook and YouTube. Please join us for that. If you can't be live with us, You can go back and watch it anytime for a nice 30-minute silent meditation. And today was our first pre-service meditation. It was awesome. Fran did it, so thank you for that. And we're doing it in person and also through our live stream. So please join us at 9:30 for a 20-minute meditation. And Monday evening, we also have Monday practice with Reverend Jorge at 6:30 p.m. And again, this is through our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Go there Monday, get your homework assignment for the week, so that way you carry the messages and the lessons from today throughout the week and really get grounded in them. Tuesday evening with Reverend Sherry is our Community Care Connection meeting. And this Tuesday, we will be doing Life's Purpose Visioning. I don't know why I'm looking up when it's written here. This process, it feels weird for me to be looking down and not looking up at you. But Life's Purpose Visioning is a powerful process that reveals more the more you do it. And you can join Reverend Sherry every Tuesday. And then this Tuesday, open up, surrender, and catch God's vision for your life. The Ernest Holmes book study is got one more session left for the Holmes reader on practical wisdom. And I heard this morning that the book study is really, really enjoying it. And it's very enlightening. So if you think you have wisdom, download the reader, read it, and join them on Saturday, and then we'll test you. That's from 10 a.m. to noon. Quantum Chair Yoga, what is it? It is creating self-mastery. Join Reverend Christopher as he guides us through multiple full series of practices that open and balance chakras. The effect of these practices are that blood chemistry changes, glands secrete, and that brain activates neuroplasticity. It's a lot of words. What does that mean? It means it really affects change in your being on a chemical, cellular level. And then these practices, you can learn and you can practice and create a great spiritual practice with it and make really great changes. As a matter of fact, I was feeling some anxiety this morning. Happens to me a lot. And Christopher caught it, and he gave me just a great little breathing exercise that immediately alleviated it. And then when it came back, I just did it again. So these are the types of beautiful practices that you can experience with Reverend Christopher. So the registration link is on our website or in our emails. It's $25 per person. And it is next Sunday, January 29th. And we need at least 8 people registered. So please register today and be with us next Sunday at 11:45 a.m. Okay. I just had that moment of, did I actually create the slide for this? I did. So the notice went out on Friday. The notice went out on Friday. I knew I was wrong. February 19th is our annual membership meeting at 11:45. Active members, we will be approving our March and October meeting minutes from 2022. So please make sure you're here for that. Mark your calendars and be here. Or we also will have a Zoom room available for you to join us remotely for that. And if you're not an active member, you're still more than welcome to join us to find out what's going on, what's been happening, and what's coming up with our community. And then after service, we have our practitioners available to pray with you. So we have our practitioner, Fran, who's also our animal chaplain. And then we have Reverend Mary Jane Hyde available to pray with you after service. And then we also have a fellowship today in Tatum's Grill, which is just across the lobby. And should I say anything? Yeah, it's a special fellowship. Join us. It's to celebrate Reverend Sherry's birthday. So we already have goodies planned. Yay. So come and join us and help us celebrate Reverend Sherry. It was like, I wasn't really given anything to say, but I kind of knew something was happening. So let's really honor. There'll be cake? No cake. She doesn't like sweets. Come on. So please join us to celebrate Reverend Sherry. And then you can find our links and everything that I pretty much said on our website or in your weekly newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you all. She does like sweets. She, do- she doesn't eat them. She doesn't eat sugar, but she really likes sweets. So I invite you all to join me for fellowship. That would be wonderful. Wonderful to spend that time with you. Let's take a breath together. I just want to I always remind you to use the treatment for supply. That's our community prayer, and we still use it, even though we don't use it in the service the way we used to. We still use it, and we may go back to it, who knows. But right now, use it at home, read it, page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. It really, really, really works. It really does. And I'd like to remind you to connect with each other, those of you who are here connecting on Sundays, and reach out to someone else in the community. Oh, hold my mic up. Okay. Okay. I wondered what you were doing over there. Okay, got my mic up. So this all used to happen online, and Nicole would be doing things like that when we were online. But now when she does them in person, it's distracting. Like, what are you doing? What are you? Why are you waving at me? So, so anyway, connecting with each other, reaching out to people in our community just to say hello. How are you? I miss you. Haven't seen you, and invite someone to come to our in-person services. Because as I've said before, that we had so many people complaining that we weren't having them. Now we are having them. And we'd like them to stop complaining and come on out and join us. So connect with them also. And join me, as I said, for after service. I guess you're going to be doing that. And joining us on Tuesday evenings is a wonderful way to connect. So I invite you to do that also. And all the other activities. Thank you all for being here. It's so great to see you. I love you all. So why don't we stand and do our affirmation? Yeah, why don't we? Why don't we stand and do our affirmation? I don't have notes up here at all. So let's take a deep breath together. And the affirmation is, I speak the truth. I act like I know the truth. I do know the truth. I live the truth. I am the truth. As a result, something wonderful is happening in my life right now. I think you can say wonderful better. Something wonderful is happening in my life right now. Yes, wonderful is happening in my life right now. I know it, I sense it, I feel it, and I thank God for it. And so it is. Now we'll have our closing song, I Release and Let Go.
I release and I let go. I let It's a spirit